tensions between the United States and Iran are sharply rising, as Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian issued a strong warning on Sunday. He said any attack on Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei would be considered an all-out war against the Iranian nation. This warning came after US President Donald Trump told Politico on Saturday that, quote, "It's time to look for new leadership in Iran." In response, President Pezeshkian posted on social media platform X, stressing that Tehran would respond harshly to any aggression. He also blamed Washington for Iran's ongoing economic difficulties, citing long-standing hostility and what he called inhuman sanctions imposed by the United States and its allies. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghai added that it is the United States, not Iran, that consistently fuels tensions across the region. He accused Washington of interfering in Iran's internal affairs and warned that any foreign attempts to destabilize the country would ultimately fail. Baghai also criticized Germany's decision to cancel Iran's invitation to the Munich Security Conference, saying it exposed the global intolerance toward voices that challenge mainstream narratives. The warnings come against the backdrop of nationwide unrest in Iran. Since late December, protests have swept across the country over the sharp depreciation of the Iranian rial. Initially peaceful, these protests gradually turned violent, resulting in thousands of deaths and widespread property damage. Government buildings, banks, and mosques were targeted, particularly on January 8th and 9th. Iranian authorities have blamed these incidents on foreign interference, specifically by the United States and Israel. According to an Iranian official, at least 5,000 people, including about 500 security personnel, have been killed during these protests. More than 24,000 arrests have been confirmed, and human rights groups report thousands more cases under review. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei called President Trump a criminal, accusing him of supporting terrorists and rioters within Iran. Despite the unrest, calm is slowly returning to the streets. However, commercial activity remains affected as citizens remain wary of possible US military strikes. Major commercial blocs in Tehran have seen a drop in customer traffic, reflecting public concern. Meanwhile, access to the global internet, which had been restricted since 8th January, is expected to be fully restored by Monday or Tuesday, according to Iranian authorities. On the diplomatic front, Iran is seeking to strengthen regional ties. Iranian Foreign Minister Saeed Abbas Araghchi has been in discussions with counterparts from Egypt, Qatar, Pakistan and Türkiye, emphasizing the importance of regional stability. On Sunday, Araghchi met with Iraqi Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein in Tehran. Both leaders highlighted the interconnected nature of their country's security, with Hussein noting that Iraq and Iran's stability is tied closely to that of the region. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump is pushing forward his controversial Board of Peace aimed at resolving conflicts globally, starting with Gaza. The board, which would be chaired for life by Trump and include officials like former British Prime Minister Tony Blair and World Bank President Ajay Banga, has raised concerns among analysts. Experts warn that the board risks sidelining multilateral institutions and Palestinian interests due to the power imbalance with Israel. Human rights advocates have also criticized the board's structure, calling it a modern form of oversight that gives little real authority to local stakeholders. Back in Iran, the government continues to face international scrutiny over the deadly protests. Officials have made it clear that they will continue to deter external interference while maintaining control over internal unrest. President Pezeshkian emphasized that Iran will respond to any unjust aggression with harsh and regrettable measures, and that attacks on the country's leadership will be considered an attack on the entire nation. In summary, the situation remains extremely tense. Iran is asserting its sovereignty and readiness to defend itself, while the United States continues to push for political change from the outside. As both nations maintain firm positions, the international community watches closely, aware that any miscalculation could escalate into a far-reaching conflict.